When you hear the name Hubble, you probably think about the telescope. But almost a century ago, that name was synonymous with one of the most preeminent astronomers of the day, Edwin Hubble.
He was certainly one of the leading observational astronomers of the 20th century. If you had to pick sort of the leading observer, Hubble would be in competition for first place.
Born on November 20th, 1889, in Marshfield, Missouri, the focus of the future astronomer's early life is not on the sky, but on athletics.
He capped a brilliant spring at the Northwestern University Interscholastic Meet on May 6, 1906, clearing the high bar at 5 feet 8.5 inches. Hubble was hailed in the papers for establishing a new state record in the event. Gail E. Christensen, author of Edwin Hubble, Mariner of the Nebulae.
Hubble goes on to play center for the University of Chicago basketball team. But he is driving towards another goal, the prestigious Rhodes Scholarship. It's an honor bestowed to candidates who often become future U.S. presidents and chief justices.
Seldom have I known a man who seems to me to be better qualified to meet the conditions imposed by the founder of the Rhodes Scholarships than is Mr. Hubble, 1923 Nobel laureate Robert Andrews Millikan.
The Rhodes Committee selects Hubble as one of the 2 awarded from the state of Illinois. He spends the next 4 years at England's Oxford University, an experience that forever transforms him.
He fell in love with the British way of doing things, their accent, their riding breeches, and the works.
While studying law at Oxford, Edwin confides to his mother he is going to take a different career path.
Work, to be pleasant, must be towards some great end, an end so great that dreams of it, anticipation of it overcomes all aversion to labor. If only I find some principle for whose sake I could leave everything else and devote my life. Edwin Powell Hubble.
For Hubble, that life is in astronomy.
He saw changes that were going on in astronomy. He got interested in it, and the interest became pretty consuming.
While pursuing his doctorate at the University of Chicago, Hubble lands a job at the world's largest telescope.
A lot of spectroscopy has been done with it. My father discovered 3 of Jupiter's satellites.
Don Nicholson's father, Seth, was one of the astronomers on staff during the early days of Mount Wilson.
Mount Wilson was, without a question, the preeminent observatory in the world for about the first half of the last century. An observatory that was designed not to do that kind of thing that had been done for centuries before, but the so-called new astronomy, what we largely call cosmology today. No other observatory in the world had the equipment, had the staff that Mount Wilson had.
But Hubble's career at Mount Wilson has to wait. Edwin's beloved England is entrenched in World War I.
He was haunted by the images of the gifted young men he had known at Oxford. Now their corpses lay scattered along the Western Front. Dale E. Christensen.
He joins the Allied effort, but never sees combat. Edwin returns home and focuses on interstellar clouds of dust and glowing gases.
My program, in short, is an attempt to find all I possibly can concerning the nature, form, and location of the galactic nebulae and their relation to the stars involved. Edwin Powell Hubble.
In October of 1923, Hubble turns his attention to the Andromeda Nebula. He discovers the first variable star in the nebula that could be used to calculate its distance from Earth. Hubble estimates Andromeda to be at least 1 million light-years away. He then applies the same technique to other spiral nebulae and discovers that our universe extends far beyond our local Milky Way.
These objects had to be at a very great distance, larger than any distances that had been proposed up to that time. This was a stunning announcement.
What's more, he finds that our immense universe is growing even larger. This expansion rate is later coined the Hubble constant. This notion of an expanding universe becomes the foundation of the Big Bang Theory, which explains how the universe began.
I think that Having the Hubble Space Telescope really seals the fame for Edwin Hubble. And it does keep his name in the forefront, and it helps him to be one of those people that really gets remembered from the 20th century.
A century that's seen both a man and a telescope named Hubble transform our view of the cosmos from a small and static island of stars to a vast and growing ocean of galaxies. From the Space Telescope Science Institute in Baltimore, Maryland, I'm Mary Estacion.